Welcome to Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan, training you to lead with courage.
Hello, friends and new friends. Welcome back to our Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan. I am Virginia Prodan, your host. And today I'm going to respond to your questions. Many of you sent me several questions, and out of them I created this podcast. Yes, we have election, we can see the corruption in our government. There are so many news, so many things, and so many people under investigation. We have war, we have inflation, we have an invasion of illegal immigrants for so many years, and now even more. More than that, the president of FBI told us that there are alerts, signs of imminent attacks on America, that cells of terrorists are in America and prepared to attack America. Many of you said, there is anything good going on in America? There is anything that we can do to change America and change the world around us for good, for freedom? Yes, I believe there is. And maybe you would think that I am a positive, I'm an encourager, and it's true. And I always see the half full of the cup. But I also learn from people that before us had similar circumstances, less than similar circumstances, or even worse circumstances. And they conquered the world. They left a legacy that we can learn from it. And one of the person that is my hero is President Ronald Reagan. President Ronald Reagan transformed the world by refusing to believe that circumstances are the way they are and nothing can be changed. Refused to believe that freedom and liberty were too conventional or too expensive to defend them. He understood the enemies of that time, socialism, and their dictators. He knew how to work with them because he understood them, he studied them. In fact, that's one of the things that I think that it's missing today on our leaders, but also on our individual part, to know our enemies and to learn how to work with them and how to win over them. He understood the difference between freedom and oppression of socialism. President Ronald Reagan had nothing but contempt for Americans' elite to envision the world locked in what it's called perpetual deadlock between freedom and totalitarian regime of socialism. President Ronald Reagan refused to accept the world on these terms and was determined to confront the enemy of the United States and the enemy of the world, Soviet Union, and the threat of the socialist and communist world. He was determined to force and to end of what he courageously called, like no one before, socialists and communists, the socialist empire, the evil empire. And through his confrontational political policy and a huge build-up of American military, he forced the Soviet Union into a public humiliation, and its economy could not be sustained, and they didn't have an equal military expansion. At the end, the Soviet Union lost political credibility because it could not deliver its promises, nor make good of its threats. Today we have the enemies of United States, terrorists, and even people that want to change America into a socialist country. But it took the courage of Ronald Reagan to walk away in 1986, leaving President Mikhail Gorbachev to face the fact that he could not deter the United States from its newly assertive military power and foreign policy. The impact of his changes in Americans' international posture is absolutely impossible to overestimate. President Ronald Reagan had an impact on the entire civilization that nobody was able to understand at the beginning. And that was because he was courageous and he was determined to speak the truth. During Ronald Reagan's first term in office, he made sure that the socialists and communists will suffer their first massive and public defeat, being pressed or pressed all over by his foreign policy aimed to liberate millions under oppressions of socialists and communists. The Soviet Union started to collapse from within. But again, it took President Ronald Reagan courage and action, and we have to learn from that. President Reagan was driven by an absolute confidence in the ultimate victory of hope over despair and freedom for the oppressed and the socialists and communists. And at the end, the Soviet Union fell more quickly, more peacefully than virtually anyone could have predicted. In 1964, President Ronald Reagan said and reminded us that you and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We will preserve for our children this, meaning America, its freedom, as the best hope, the last best hope of men on earth, or we will send them to take the last step into thousands of years of darkness. Let me repeat. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We will preserve for our children America and its freedom as the last best hope of men on earth, or we will sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness. This is so true for us today. I hope these words will resonate with you. Those words captured Ronald Reagan and propelled him into the stage of national politics. Yes, the great communicator, what it's called, Ronald Reagan, has left the political arena many years ago, but his ideas continue to define the political landscape for many of us. And I hope with our action, through our deeds, many will join us. As Ronald Reagan spoke of this rendezvous with destiny in a speech delivered to support the Landing campaign in 1964, many were afraid that this speech Ronald Reagan will be losing this election and landscape. Nevertheless, speaking courageously, Ronald Reagan entered the political limelight by speaking the truth about freedom and prosperity and democracy, in contrast with the atrocity of socialist tyranny and he also connected with American people. This is so important for us to understand that he spoke courageously, even though people around him thought that he might lose that election. He kept speaking the truth, comparing and analyzing in details the benefits of freedom and living under the truth of God in capitalism and the atrocity of socialism and tyranny that people suffer under socialism. And he connected with the American people. As individuals today, we have the same role, the same place. We need to know our enemies, our people that want to destroy America. They might be terrorists, or they might be the ones that want to build socialists in America, socialists that I call a land of lies and a prison land. I hope all of you or many of you read my memoir, Saving My Assassin. You can find the book at my website under virginiaprodanbooks.com/product/book. I live under socialists and communists, so I know what the atrocity of socialists and communists can bring to America and can bring to each one of us. It is our rendezvous with destiny today to know and understand our enemies, the terrorists, or the ones who are lying to us about socialists and they want to bring socialists to America. That means that we should live under the power, full power of the government and who will take our rights away. Believe me, it's going to be a land of lies and a prison land. Many Americans will remember Ronald Reagan as a great president, and history will remember him for his fight, for his stance, for his truth, and for his determination to speak the truth, even when it was not pleasant for many to hear. But many Americans will remember because he was a great friend. He thought about each one of them and he wanted to build and create a better life for each one of them. And because of President Ronald Reagan's life, his legacy and fight for freedom and determination to expose the atrocity of socialists and tyranny of socialists and communists, compared with the benefits and the beauty of freedom and truth in capitalism, we today can build our legacy and bring America back to freedom and truth as we follow his example. No, we are not presidents of United States, but we are presidents of our own life as God guides us, as God put us on this planet for a time like this to be a light and to be a truth teller. The light of Christ in us needs to shine, and to know that Christ died for us and he set us free to live in freedom. He is the one who gave us freedom. Freedom comes from God and not from the government. And we should be the truth teller of freedom that we need to live under in America. Yet, and I hope that the greatest legacy of President Ronald Reagan is that his ideas and his determination and his example to fight for freedom in America, to fight for truth and to speak the truth, even when that is inconvenient, is and lives in each one of us. in this generation and the generations to come in America, that they will never die. Yes, we have a lot work to do and to accomplish. I remember coming to America and hearing that America is a melting pot, a land of immigrants, and I am one of them. I am a legal immigrant. I came as a political refugee from communist, socialist Romania, and President Ronald Reagan was the one, when you read my memoir, Saving My Assassin, you will find out that President Ronald Reagan made a deal with our dictator and offered him 1 more year of most favored nation status for Romania in order for the dictator to let me and my family to come to America. Ronald Reagan knew the atrocity of socialists and knew the enemies of America and the enemies of the world at that time, socialists. Now, socialists, it's an enemy here in America, and we need to know and learn not only about the enemy, but also how to work with these enemies. I had the honor and the privilege to meet President Ronald Reagan at the White House. And he remains my hero, one of my heroes. Also, I want to share with you, and as I came to America, I received a small notebook from the government about some few instructions about life in America. One of the first things that I was told, I'm sure everybody who came at that time in America received the same brochure, was invited to learn English, because the government told us that learning English will be easier for us to find a job. The government promised to protect us and to give us help if we need, but encourage us not to remain on welfare. Encourage us to learn English, to learn about the American way, and to build our own wings and accomplish our dreams and our destiny in America. America was a country of diversity, and the brochure invited us to learn about America's history and culture and to become part of United States of America. Diversity was at that time a positive strength for America. Well, I have been in America for over 30 years. In the last years or decades, diversity in the United States of America was transformed from our strength into our division and even distractions. And some of people, liberals, want to destroy America. Many people are encouraged not to know English, to remain on welfare, and not to learn about history of United States, and not to become part of United States. But they are encouraged to change America, even though they came to America because they wanted freedom and they wanted everything that America stands for. Others, even people born in America, lost their identity as an American citizen because they wanted to be politically correct and to reject their identity as Americans, and to submit to the government. All these people are suffering now from epidemical identity. They don't have purpose or a mission in life. No wonder why we have so much violence, so much suicidal, not only in middle school, high school, college, or university, but in every area and age of our lives. We have homeless so much. in America. That is something that we need to change. Let's think about what is going on in our universities. Anti-Semitism, violence, rejection of the American values, and so forth. Nowadays, many people, especially Jewish people, because of the violent demonstration on their campus, they don't feel secure. They don't feel um, that the university is doing everything to stop the anti-Semitism in universities. In fact, many of them consider that the colleges are allowing anti-Semitism to thrive. Some of them are suing colleges like Columbia University, New York University, Harvard, MIT, or Pennsylvania University because their safety is at risk. They receive death threats. There are acts of violence against people. And if you think that those acts of violence will be today only against Jewish people, think twice. Tomorrow might be against us, against Christians, and tomorrow might be against everyone who does not agree with the government and its policies. It's time for us to change that, to change the violence around us, to change the ideology that socialists will bring everything that these people think that they will bring. Like I said, I live under socialists and I know the atrocity of socialism. It's time for us to be strong and courageous and to speak the truth and show the face of humanity in the face of inhumanity of our universities and even around America. We are called to stand up. We are called to speak the truth and to change the world with truth and freedom. One other thing is look around. As people, liberal wants to change America into socialist, where the government takes everything away from you. Parents' rights are being taken away by the government using school and their policies. Not only in college and universities, but now they are doing from kindergarten to first grade to 12th grade. Think about the girl student in Colorado Springs who was forced to share the room and sleep in the same bed with a boy who declared himself a girl. And the school never told the parents even after that trip. A boy in Texas won the girl dance competition as he declared himself a girl. And the list goes on and on and on. It's time for us to change those things in America. And the good news is that, yes, we can do it. Remember, President Ronald Reagan said, not only for that time, but for us too. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We will preserve for our children America, its freedom, as the last best hope of man on earth, or we will sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness. What a responsibility we have, and also what a great journey we have, because with God everything is possible. And believe me, I took a dictator to court and I won the cases. I exposed them to the entire world, and I am alive. With God, everything is possible. Many years ago, speaking courageously, President Ronald Reagan entered the political limelight by speaking the truth about the freedom, the benefits of capitalism, and the atrocities of socialists and the tyranny of socialists, and connecting with American people. Today, taking his example as individuals, we have to do the same thing, to speak the truth courageously and to connect with other people that have been captured in darkness by the ungodly culture that promise and promotes socialism as a submission to the government that will eliminate all our rights. History will remember Ronald Reagan as a great president, but many Americans, and I hope you are one of them, will remember him as a great friend because he fought for you and me. What about us? How will people remember us? That is a question that each one of us will have to answer. And remember, because President Ronald Reagan's life and his legacy of fight for freedom and his determination to expose the atrocities of enemies, socialists, and their tyranny, now today, here, we can build our legacy by bringing America back to freedom and truth as we follow his example. Yet, I believe the greatest hope for us is the fact that his legacy, President Ronald Reagan's legacy, ideas are still in many of us. And this generation, you and me, and the younger generations of Americans will continue to fight for freedom and truth and will not let freedom and truth die in America. I hope you will take this to heart, and I hope you will tell us your plan for action. You will send us your suggestion because we love to hear from you. And remember, John 1 John 4:4 says, the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. Again, I hope you read my memoir, Saving My Assassin. You can find it at virginiaprodanbooks.com/product/book, and you will be encouraged in what God can do in one life, and that can be your life, because you are here to be a tool in God's hands, as I was a tool in God's hands, and he changed Romania through me from a socialist country to a democratic country. Today, you and me are here to be a tool in God's hands so he can change America back to freedom and destroy the plans of the liberals who want to transform America into a socialist country. I hope you and me will get to work. Send us your plan, send us your suggestion or your question. We are here to help you. May God bless you.